The Punjab Chief Electoral Officer has withdrawn an earlier order where he'd restrained the media from running Kumar Vishwas's video. This is a video, remember, where he has hit out at Arvind Kejriwal. And the new order that has now been passed removes any restrictions on airing Kumar Vishwas's comment on Arvind Kejriwal. All of these developments happening on the eve of the last day of campaigning in Punjab. Mohammad Ghazali, who's been tracking the details of the story, joins us with the very latest. Ghazali, within an hour, the Chief Electoral Officer issued a new order wherein he has, sort of changed his stance and allowed the media. He's lifted the restrictions.
See, the interesting part is the first order, which had put all these restrictions, had come out under the signature of Additional Chief Electoral Officer. And this new order has come out or have been undersigned by the Chief Electoral Officer of Punjab. So this raises certain questions that how come an order which was issued earlier, was it not reviewed by the Chief Electoral Officer, or did the additional CEO of Punjab issue those orders restraining the airing of Kumar Vishwas's video without informing his superior? So that is one thing, and this current order certainly very clearly says that the previous order is withdrawn. We contacted the Chief Electoral Officer's office as well, and what was the response? The response was that the previous order has been withdrawn. So it means that that particular video where Kumar Vishwas is accusing Kejriwal of having links with extremists, that can be aired. As of now, this is the clarification which has been given from the CEO Punjab's office.
All right. Well, the timing of, these orders is extremely interesting. This is coming in, remember, on the eve of the final day of campaigning in Punjab. And what's also interesting, Ghazali, when we talk about the timing is the fact that within 1 hour of issuing restraining order to the media against airing Kumar Vishwas's comments against Arvind Kejriwal, there has now been a reversal by the Chief Election Officer in Punjab. We'll keep a close watch on all these developments. But like I said, tomorrow is the last day of campaigning in the high-octane Punjab election. Arvind Kejriwal today held a roadshow in the BJP stronghold of Pathankot. Rahul Gandhi and Priyanka Gandhi Vadra are also giving a last-minute push in what's being seen as a tough fight for the Congress. Is Badlav likely in Punjab? That's the big question, and here's the full story.
In the BJP's stronghold of Pathankot, Aam Aadmi Party's leader Arvind Kejriwal held a roadshow. This time, many young voters like Sandeep Kumar are not only campaigning for the party, but also urging their family members to do so.
मैं 3-4 बारी दिल्ली हो आया, मैं खुद उत्थे देखी हुई है कि विकास की चीज़ है। ऐसी चीज़ मैं देख के आया, उससे रजाना मैं आम आदमी पार्टी ने जुड़ा नहीं तो मैंने पॉलिटिशियन कोई ना कोई लिंक का करना कुछ न्यूज़ देखता है।
The Aam Aadmi Party is making an extra push in this border belt. It won 0 of the 25 seats here in the last election. The party is also betting heavily on the almost 3.5 lakh first-time voters, an anti-incumbency against the 5 sitting ministers from here.
तीनों पार्टियां मिलके केवल और केवल मेरे को गालियां दे रहे हैं, भगवंत मान को गालियां दे रहे हैं, आम आदमी पार्टी को गाली दे रहे हैं, एक दूसरे को गाली नहीं दे रहे। हमारा क्या कसूर है? हम कह रहे हैं हम पंजाब में स्कूल बनाएंगे जैसे दिल्ली में बनाए। जय श्री राम।
On the last full day of campaigning, the Prime Minister, the Gandhi siblings also campaigned. The Congress Chief Minister's UP Bhaiya jibe seized by the BJP.
कांग्रेस के जो मुख्यमंत्री ने जो कल बयान दिया है और जिस पर ये दिल्ली का परिवार है उनका मालिक, वो बगल में खड़े रह करके तालियां बजा रहा है।
पंजाबियत ये है जो किसी के सामने नहीं झुकती।
Priyanka Gandhi Vadra, who campaigned in Pathankot, attacked both the AAP and the BJP, but was forced on the defensive over the UP Bhaiya comment.
ये क्या करते हैं कि किसी भी चीज को लेके उसको घुमा के पब्लिक के सामने इस तरह से प्रेजेंट करेंगे कि भाई बहुत बड़ा अपमान हो गया। चन्नी जी क्या कह रहे थे, एक संदर्भ में बात कर रहे थे। वो बेसिकली ये कह रहे थे कि पंजाब की सरकार पंजाबियों से चलनी चाहिए।
केजरीवाल जैसे लोग बाहर से आकर खलल डालते हैं, मैंने उनके बारे में बात की है, लेकिन जो यूपी, बिहार, राजस्थान या जहाँ से भी लोग पंजाब में आते हैं और पंजाब में काम करते हैं, पंजाब उनका भी उतना ही है जितना हमारा है।
As Punjab is looking for change, Aam Aadmi Party seems to be one party which has least political baggage as compared to its rivals. But will this support convert into votes? That's the big question. In Pathankot with camera person Ashwini Mehra, Mohammad Ghazali for NDTV.
And well, let's now shift our focus to poll-bound Uttar Pradesh. Mulayam Singh Yadav, Shivpal Yadav and Akhilesh Yadav were seen together during a campaign in Etawah, putting up a united face. Remember, in 2016, Akhilesh Yadav had a major falling out with his father Mulayam Yadav and uncle Shivpal Yadav before the 2017 state elections, in which the Samajwadi Party faced a debacle. You can see the three there putting up a united face ahead of the polls. And well, now let's shift our focus to Karnataka. On the fourth day of the Karnataka Legislative Assembly session, the session started on a stormy note with the Congress demanding the sacking of BJP Minister K.S. Ishwarappa for saying that a saffron flag would one day replace the national flag.
Dramatic scenes in the Karnataka Assembly. The Congress demanded the sacking of BJP Minister K.S. Ishwarappa for saying that a saffron flag would one day replace the national flag. KPCC President D.K. Shivkumar said that the Congress will hold a night protest inside the assembly.
BJP minister is a thug. The image of this country, you want to place a in place of a tricolor, our national flag, you want to place a Kesari flag.
While the BJP accused the Congress's Shivkumar of spreading false news that the tricolour was replaced by a saffron flag during an anti-hijab protest, the party is not endorsing its minister's controversial statement.
You do not endorse his remarks in any way, right?
No, definitely no. You see, Mr. Ishwarappa ji only has made it very clear. See, they're just trying to politicize. They just wanted some opportunity since they were not able to speak on hijab.
For the second day, the Congress's legislators continued their protests against Panchayat Raj and Rural Development Minister K.S. Ishwarappa. In Bengaluru, Shrija for NDTV.
Meanwhile, let's also get you the latest in the hijab row hearing that is taking place in the Karnataka High Court. The judge today said petitioners have presented their case well. The Advocate General, however, has sought more time to respond to the petitioners. The Council for the Girls has requested permission to allow girls to wear hijabs at educational institutions on Fridays. The High Court will continue hearing this case tomorrow, and the hearing in this case is likely to continue for over a week. Meanwhile, defining images of the day, 17-year-old boy asked police to allow girls to wear their hijab. The 17-year-old boy was heard telling the police to not target girls wearing a hijab, asking them what will they get by targeting these girls who are wearing a hijab. How have they wronged us in any way? Why are you spoiling their future? He's heard asking. Even you have children, think about it. Supporting them will only make our future better. Well, moving on to the other big story we're tracking, India today has reacted sharply to the Singapore Prime Minister's remarks on Nehru's India becoming one where more than half MPs face criminal charges. Sources have told NDTV that India has taken objection to these remarks that were made by the Singaporean Prime Minister and will take up the matter with the Singaporean side.
Well, Nehru's India has become one where, according to media reports, Almost half the MPs in the Lok Sabha have criminal charges pending against them, including charges of rape and murder. Though it is also said that many of these allegations are politically motivated.
Meanwhile, former Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh today hit out at the government, saying foreign policy cannot be conducted by swinging on swings.
चीनी फौजी पिछले एक साल तो साड़ी पवित्र धरती ते बैठे हैं, पर इस पूरे मामले नू दबाउण दी कोशिश कीती जा रही है। मैं उम्मीद करदा हां कि हुण सत्ताधारियां नू ये समझ आ गई होवेगी कि नेतावां नू जबरदस्ती जफी पाउण, उन्हां नू झूठे दबाउण या बिना बुलाए बिरयानी खान पहुंच जाण नाल देश रिश्ते नहीं सुधर सकते।
From my perspective, this is purely or clearly a political message, not a policy one. So I think from my position here, I would not like to get into that. Of course, as regards China, the facts of the matter are clear. I don't need to reiterate them. We have been discussing about what the processes of conversation with China and how the situation has arisen.
Well, let's now get you the details of India's biggest bank fraud. ABG Shipyard and its directors have been accused by the CBI of allegedly cheating 28 banks to the tune of 23,000 crore rupees. The main accused, Rishi Agarwal, who is in Mumbai, has been questioned at his residence during a CBI raid. The CBI has also put airports on alert to stop Agarwal from fleeing. Arvind Kejriwal, tracking the details of this story, joins us with the very latest. Arvind, what more can you tell us?
Dishika, the Central Bureau of Investigation on Saturday conducted raids after registering case against Rishi Agarwal and 4 others for allegedly defrauding 28 banks of somewhere around 23,000 crore. That is the biggest bank fraud case that has ever been registered by the Central Bureau of Investigation. Rishi Agarwal, who was the MD of ABG Shipyard, came under the radar of the Central Bureau of Investigation after the State Bank of India filed a complaint with the Central Bureau of Investigation. So after conducting searches on Saturday, today the agency sources have confirmed to NDTV that the agency has in fact questioned Rishi Agarwal in connection with this particular matter. Not just Rishi Agarwal, what we are also picking from our sources is that the agency in the coming days will also be summoning the other directors of this particular company for questioning in this particular case. And what we are also picking is that when agency conducted searches at the premises of Rishi Agarwal, he was very much in Mumbai during the searches, and he did cooperate with the searchers. Subsequently, the Enforcement Directorate has also registered a money laundering case into the same matter. And what we are also being told is that after the Central Bureau of Investigation questioning, the Enforcement Directorate will be questioning Rishi Agarwal for alleged diversion of the funds, the loans that were availed by his company, that is ABG Shipyard, and which was allegedly diverted to almost 98 related companies.
All right, thanks Arvind for joining us with the details, and that's of course a 23,000 crore rupee fraud that we're talking about, where allegedly 28 banks have in fact been cheated. Thanks very much for joining us with those details. Back, India's largest university, the Delhi University, today reopened its doors to students after 2 years. Students from all over the country have returned to Delhi University for physical classes, and while it's a welcome move, it is indeed one that is fraught with challenges.
Friends meeting after months. Proud parents taking photos and the iconic eating joints buzzing once again. Now that the Delhi University campus has reopened after 2 years.
Feels like a freshers to farewell journey directly, nothing in between.
The last offline batch, we did get to attend 6 to 7 months of college, and we were exploring new things, hanging out and making new friends, and suddenly the world decided to fall like dominoes.
Students say they missed classroom interactions and participating in extracurriculars.
When it was online, it was always like a one-way thing, a one-way learning process.
The reopening has not been without challenges. Many outstation students are struggling to find accommodation as the reopening was announced with 1 week's notice.
3 महीना पहले बुक कराया था पीजी, उसका मैं यहाँ आई तो वहाँ बोलते हैं कि नहीं आपने ब्लॉक क्यों नहीं करवाया, आपका पीजी फुल है, आपको नहीं मिलेगा और पैसा भी रिटर्न नहीं कर रहे हैं, मैं बच्ची लेके कहाँ जाऊँ.
The turnout was larger than expected, so at Hindu College the first day was spent in the sports field. with professors allocating teaching spaces where COVID protocols could be followed.
It is not 100%, but if you can take a view yourself, you'll realize that the numbers is huge. 50% have turned up. Third years are less. First years, being the very excited lot, has turned up.
The long-awaited reopening of the Delhi University has finally happened, and campus hotspots such as this Maggie Point are buzzing once again. The hope is that the learning and life experiences lost over the last 2 years can be made up for. With Sudesh Kumar Ram, Meher Pandey for NDTV.
And while moving on to the other big story, we're tracking from the national capital. IEDs have been found in Delhi's Simapuri. This after the Delhi Police Special Cell has in fact found links to the 14th January bomb blast and the Kullu bomb blast of 29 January to an abandoned home in Simapuri. The bomb squad has said that the NSG was also in fact deployed there, as were fire engines, and a controlled explosion was in fact carried out. Akshay with the details.
Right now we are in the old Simapuri area of the national capital, and we are standing right outside the residence from where the Delhi Police Special Cell today recovered an improvised explosive device. The Delhi Police Special Cell has been probing the bomb scare that took place in the Ghazipur Mandi on 14th of January and the bomb blast that took place in a car in Kullu of Himachal Pradesh on 29th of January. According to the special cell, the links were found here at this one residence. There were 3 men who were living here who rented an accommodation barely 10 days back, and all the calls that were being intercepted by the police led them here. After the police came somewhere around 2 p.m., all the 3 men who were living here, they had already fled the spot. So when the police was in fact conducting raids at this particular residence, they found a suspicious bag in which there was an improvised explosive device. Remember, there was an improvised explosive device that was also planted in Ghazipur Mandi on 14th of January, which was diffused by the NSG and the fire brigade, and the same modus operandi was in fact followed today as well. NSG was called in, fire brigade was called in, and when the police came here, when they recovered that particular bag, it was taken to Dilshad Garden, around 3 kilometers from this particular location, and there was a controlled explosion there as well. So while the immediate danger is not here anymore, the police is still conducting raids and trying to find more intel from this particular location. The big question, however, remains is that what exactly was the purpose of these 3 men renting this particular accommodation? Certainly there was something going on, a big plan was going on, and even after the attack on 14th of January was foiled, these 3 men were trying to plan something bigger. So the question remains that whether these 3 men were working independently trying to carry out attacks in the national capital, or are they associated with a bigger network, or are they part of some sleeper cell? All these information will be revealed by the police in the investigation, but also the immediate danger that remains is where exactly are these 3 men who have fled this particular residence. And according to sources, the police in fact has found out their pictures as well as their locations, but remains to be seen that when exactly these 3 men will be nabbed. With camera person Kaushik, I'm Akshay Dongre for NDTV.